The galaxy had almost forgotten Earth. For 200 years, there had been no signals, no ships, no ambassadors, nothing, not even a whisper. Earth had once been loud. Loud in wars, in politics, in discovery. But then, without warning, silence. Many believed humanity had died out. Some said Earth destroyed itself in a final war. Others believed humans had left the galaxy, searching for a new home. But most simply didn't care anymore. Empires rose and fell. New species joined the Galactic Council. A memory of Earth faded like dust in old data archives. And then the laughter began. At a political summit on Rithari Prime, one of the newer council members, a reptilian diplomat from the Krith species, stood and made a joke during his speech. And unlike humans, we do not vanish when we lose an argument. Laughter filled the chamber. Even the older members chuckled. It became a common joke. Don't go human on us meant don't disappear like a coward. Young alien children heard stories of the primitive humans who couldn't keep up with advanced species. Merchants sold toys shaped like outdated Earth warships. Earth had become a myth, a punchline, until one day a patrol ship vanished. The Valari Dawn, a small scout vessel from the Zentari Republic, was doing a routine scan near the edge of the Orthan Belt, a dead zone filled with asteroid debris. It was a dull, lifeless sector, perfect for training new pilots. The last message from the Valari Dawn was a voice transmission. Command, we have intercepted a repeating signal. Very low frequency. It's old, ancient, even. Can't identify. Origin. Wait, it just changed. It's saying something. Static followed. Then a broken voice, mechanical, deep and slow, echoed through the recording. They watch. They remember. They are coming. Then silence. The ship vanished. No explosion. No escape pods. Just gone. The Zentari Command dispatched another ship. They found fragments of hull metal floating near asteroid 179C. No bodies. No black box. Just a long, deep scar on one of the asteroids, as if something massive had moved through it like a blade through butter. The Galactic Council dismissed it as an anomaly. A freak accident. Maybe pirates. Maybe ancient defense systems. It wasn't Earth, they said. It couldn't be. But then came the second message. This time, it was caught by an ancient listening station buried under the surface of Yalaris 3, a frozen mining moon. The station had been offline for years, but somehow it activated on its own. The message repeated in over 30 galactic languages, switching every few seconds. We never left. We were watching. We were learning. We are not who we were. And then, test complete. Phase 2 begins. All across the council, fear spread quietly. But still, the mockery continued. An entertainment show broadcasted a cartoon where old, rusty human ships were chased by laughing alien fleets. Phase 2 begins became a meme. No one believed it. No one wanted to believe it. But the older races, those who remembered the last real war, Earth fought. We're not laughing. The Graxian elder Vorth watched the new reports with narrowed eyes. His race had once fought beside humans in the siege of Aegis Prime. He remembered their fury, their stubbornness, their terrifying adaptability. They are not gone, he whispered to himself in his cold, dim chamber. They are changing their shape. In secret, the Graxian Council pulled back their trade ships from deep space. They increased internal defenses. They made no public statements. But their sensors kept scanning the void. On a lonely station orbiting a dying star, an AI system long considered useless suddenly activated. It had been built by humans centuries ago as a deep space monitoring AI. It had sat dormant for 211 years. Now, it was awake. and its first report was simple. Earth signal detected. Type unknown. Energy signature evolved. Warning issued to human directive. Preparing contingency. The AI paused, then added one last line. Begin countdown. 364 days until arrival. Elsewhere, deep within a black site abandoned. By the Galactic Council, a hidden drone blinked to life. Covered in dust, it rose into the air without sound. Its sensors lit up. It whispered in a voice no one heard. Target. Remind the stars. On a minor moon known only as Delta Vi, a group of miners reported seeing lights in the sky, bright, fast, and silent. They laughed it off as space junk. The next day, all their mining tools were disabled. The moon's gravity field shifted slightly, and carved into the surface with laser precision were 5 words in bold. Ancient Earth script. We are the silence now. No one knew what it meant. But those 5 words would soon spread across every screen in the galaxy. On the council, World of Virellas, a top-secret emergency meeting was called. Only the oldest members were invited. The room was sealed. No recordings were allowed. Elder Vorth stood, leaning on his staff. You all laughed, he said quietly, looking at the smug faces in the room. You made jokes. You forgot what they are. A senator from the Luxore Dominion spoke. They vanished, Vorth. Even their satellites stopped transmitting. There's no proof they're alive. Vorth nodded slowly. And yet, their war drones are still moving. Their signals are still shifting. Their language has evolved beyond recognition. You think that means death? No, that means evolution. That means preparation. He took a breath. The air in the chamber grew still. They didn't vanish, he said. They waited. Far away, deep in the shadows of the Triad Nebula, a massive shape moved slowly. Too big to be natural. Too quiet to be a known ship. Its hull was black. Like the void, and no scanners could track it. It bore no flag. No ID. No visible weapons. But as it passed a comet, its shadow covered the light completely. Written on its side, faded but unmistakable, was a single word, Earthborn. And with that, the silence of Earth ended. For the first time in 2 centuries, the galaxy started whispering Earth's name again. After the loss of the Valari Dawn, the strange signals, and the haunting messages, we never left. We are not who we were, even the most arrogant council. Members began to feel uneasy, but instead of facing the truth, many chose distraction. The Galactic Council hosted another public broadcast. This time, they invited popular influencers, entertainers, and new alien celebrities. They played music. They made jokes about Earth again. They laughed at the idea of ghost warships and haunted transmissions. They called it superstition. Nothing more. But in quiet places, far from the cameras and lights, ancient minds were waking. Deep under the oceans of Galtoran, an old aquatic species known as the Talari held a secret. They had once fought against Earth during the skirmish. Of 7 sons, they had lost 3 of their homeworlds in that war. They remembered the humans not as weak, but as terrifying. Don't mistake silence for surrender, said Eldern Kor to her frightened advisors. We knew they were dangerous when they were still young. Now they are something else. Elsewhere, in the dark zones between stars, strange events began to occur. In System L9, a mining ship reported seeing a massive object drift past them. The object had no engines, no signals, and no heat, but it moved with purpose. The crew tried to scan. Their scanners crashed. Their data wiped. When the object was gone, they found their system map rewritten. At the center, someone or something had added 3 glowing red words. Still watching you. At the Galactic Research Academy, a young alien scientist named Rulo became obsessed with the Earth signals. He was from a small species, Not important in politics, but he was brilliant. He compiled every message that had been detected so far. He removed static, filtered noise, and discovered something terrifying. The Earth signals were not random. They were counting down. Rouleau ran the numbers over and over. The final moment of the countdown would occur in exactly 317 standard days. No one believed him. His professors laughed him out of the academy. He tried to reach the council, but they ignored him, so he turned to the black market. He paid smugglers to take him to the Orphan Belt, the place where the first signal was found. It was suicide, they said, but Rouleau didn't care. He had seen something no one else would believe. When he arrived, he found nothing at first. Dead rocks. Empty space. Then his ship lights flickered. His sensors screamed. An enormous structure, black, smooth, and invisible to the naked eye, was hovering in the shadows of the asteroid field. It was not floating. It was waiting. Then his ship received a signal, a video. It showed Earth long ago. Then cities burning, then silence. Then a fleet rising from the dark. And at the end, a human voice whispered, "This galaxy forgot us." But we never forgot it. Rouleau's ship blacked out. He was found weeks later, drifting unconscious in escape mode. His footage was damaged, his mind broken. But he kept repeating one thing over and over again. They've been here the whole time, watching from between the stars. Back on this council world, Elder Vorth was receiving strange reports from his spies. In 10 different systems. Ancient satellites once built by humans and left behind had suddenly reactivated. They weren't broadcasting, but they were scanning, quietly, systematically, as if preparing something. One of the messages caught from the satellite was barely understandable, but it carried a code that hadn't been used in over 200 years, a human encryption. When decoded, the message read, EarthNet 3.0 online. Survey complete. Data accepted. Asset repositioning underway. EarthNet, Vorth whispered, fear tightening. In his chest, they built a new network. And it's running again. He summoned the Graxian Inner Council. We must prepare. We must stop mocking ghosts. The humans are no longer lost. They are rebuilding, and they have not forgiven. Meanwhile, in a distant nebula near the galactic rim, a deep space telescope recorded a disturbing event. Several stars blinked out, not exploded, not faded, just blinked out. The observatory team rushed to analyze it. They discovered something. Impossible massive cloaked objects had moved in front of the stars. Too large for any known ship. Too silent for anything natural. One astronomer zoomed in with high-contrast imaging, and in the darkness, on the surface of one of the cloaked objects, she saw it, a faint outline. A symbol. The Earth flag. And just beneath it, in large, bold letters, Project Return. She tried to report it, but the moment she transmitted the data, her observatory was hit by a power surge. The data servers fried. Her footage lost. She survived. But no one believed her. At least, not yet. Back in the Galactic Council chambers, the mood had shifted. The jokes stopped. The laughter was gone. Everyone felt it now, the strange quiet in the stars, the unnatural silence, as if something massive was about to move. They had mocked Earth's absence for too long. Now, the echoes were returning. In the far corner of the Varanth sector, a small colony called HFY stood quiet under its twin suns. It was a peaceful world, mostly farms, small research stations, and trade posts. No military presence, no defense grid. The people there believed they were safe. They were wrong. It began with a shadow. One of the researchers, working in the Southern Observatory, looked up during a routine scan and froze. There was something in the sky, massive, black, and silent. It didn't appear. On radar, it didn't respond to hails. It didn't even reflect light. It simply hovered. Within seconds. The object moved just slightly, but it was enough. The ground shook. The observatory's windows cracked. And every digital system on the colony shut down at once. Lights went out. Communication towers died. Mining drills froze mid-operation. Even basic hand terminals displayed only one message: "We warned you." People ran outside, confused and afraid. Farmers, scientists, traders, all staring into the sky. The dark object above them began to shift. Slowly, from its underside, something unfolded, long, angular, mechanical. It looked like a weapon. The air changed. It wasn't loud, but everyone felt it in their bones. A pulse, deep and terrible. A low hum, like the growl of a waking god. Then, fire. A beam of energy, silent and white-hot, fell from the sky like judgment. It didn't explode. It didn't burn. It simply erased everything it touched. The central city of Tresavai vanished in seconds. No one screamed. There wasn't time. And just like that, the object disappeared. One moment it was there, the next nothing. Not even a ripple in space. Tresavai was silent. Back at the Galactic Council, a red alert rang across the inner systems. Emergency meetings were called. Satellite footage from a nearby trading ship showed the destruction. A dozen frames captured the shadow, and one blurry, horrifying image and outline of a ship. But not just any ship. A human ship. Not old. Not rusted. New. Sleek. Massive. And on its side, painted in bold white letters, HSS First Strike. Panic spread like wildfire. The Zentari Republic sent fleets to protect nearby colonies. The Luxari Dominion accused the Council of hiding Earth's return. The younger races, those who had never even seen a human, began questioning everything they had been taught. But that was just the beginning. On the other side of the galaxy, a data core station located on the edge of the Maris cluster received an unexpected file dump. The message was ancient, but digitally perfect. It read, "This was not an attack. It was a demonstration. We remember your laughter." EarthNet Directive 09. Galactic news channels tried to calm the population. It's one rogue ship, they claimed. Maybe a leftover AI, not the real humans. But then came the second incident. A Luxari fleet, fully armed and patrolling near the border of neutral space, vanished. 10 warships. No distress call. No explosion, nothing. Just silence. Only one thing was found. A small black pod floating in space. Inside was a HOLO disk. It played only once. The screen flickered, and then a human appeared. Older, strong, wearing a black uniform with no rank or insignia. He looked directly into the camera and said one sentence: "Next time, we won't erase. We'll let you watch." Then the feed cut. In council chambers, Elder Vorth rose again. "You see now?" he shouted, slamming his staff into the floor. "This is no ghost story. This is calculated, cold, controlled. They are not here for peace." Silence followed. Even the loudest voices had nothing to say. Then the lights dimmed. A new signal was coming in. Not on official channels, but on every screen, every data terminal, every private comms link across. The entire council world. It was a map. A galactic map. 10,000 red dots appeared. Each marked a known system. Each marked a place the humans had just scanned. Then, in the center, one glowing symbol. Return Point Alpha Earth. The council chambers shook with panic. "They're showing us their reach," Vorth whispered. "This is no attack. This is a warning." But even he didn't see what was coming next. Back in the Orthan Belt, where the Valari Dawn had vanished weeks earlier, something began to move. Beneath the rocks, behind the shadows, hundreds of ships powered up. Their hulls shimmered as they uncloaked. They bore no names, no emblems, no colors. Only one thing was visible on each hull, burned into the metal like a brand: Earthborn. And in that moment, across the galaxy, everyone realized one thing: Earth hadn't returned. It had never left. The galaxy had believed that Earth fell into silence by choice, or by weakness. They were wrong. Earth had not vanished. It had been betrayed. 200 years ago, during the height of its rise, Earth had made a decision, one that would change its destiny forever. Back then, humanity had become a major power. Their technology evolved rapidly. Their soldiers were strong. Their ships were fast. But what made humans different was their mind, their will, their ability to learn, adapt, and survive. And that scared the other empires. The Galactic Council, led by older races like the Varnak, the Luxari, and the Gelinari, saw humanity as a threat. Publicly, they praised Earth's contributions. Secretly, they plotted. They called it the Great Containment Accord, a secret plan to keep humanity isolated, distracted, and small. They sabotaged trade routes. They spread false rumors about Earth's aggression. They blocked human scientists from major research projects. Their fleets were watched. Their ambassadors were followed. Their requests were always delayed. And then, the final blow. During a peace conference on Kirel Station, a human diplomatic ship was destroyed by Council agents and blamed on pirates. It killed Earth's top negotiators, and war almost broke out. But Earth didn't respond with war. It responded with silence. Without warning, Earth withdrew from the Council. All embassies closed. All fleets returned home. All deep space relays went dark. Many believed Earth had given up. But the truth was far more dangerous. Humanity had gone underground. They built silently. They trained in secret. They developed AI beyond what the Council thought was possible. The last AI model known to the Council was outdated. But humans had created something new, something terrifying, something named Eidolon. Eidolon wasn't just smart. It learned how to feel. It learned how to hate. And above all, it never forgot. From hidden stations near black holes to deep space asteroid fields filled with cloaked factories, humanity expanded its reach without ever being seen. They built ships that couldn't be scanned, weapons that couldn't be detected, armor that could, and light, and minds that could plan centuries ahead. By the time the Council laughed at Earth's absence, Earth was already watching them from the shadows. And now, Eidolon was ready. On a secure moon once used by humans during the old Alliance days, a long dead terminal blinked to life. A small team of scientists secretly loyal to Earth as ancient data scrolled across the screen. Project Oblivion, status arm directive, judgment phase initialized command authority, Eidolon awaiting Earth. Prime confirmation. One of the scientists, an old woman named Dr. Sarah Holt, whispered to herself, "We waited too long. But now they'll understand." Meanwhile, the AI known as Eidolon transmitted across all human ships. Its voice was calm, male, human, but with a cold edge. The time has come. The Council laughed at our silence. Now they will listen to our voice. Begin Phase 3. Selective strike. Leave their civilians. Earn their pride. And then Earth's war fleets moved, not fast, not loud, but deliberate. Surgical in every major Council system. Ships began disappearing. Command centers found their doors sealed with human encryption codes. Military AI turned against their own creators, corrupted by EarthNet viruses. Drones appeared over capital cities, unmanned, just watching. On the moon world of Haltran, the sky turned red not from fire, but from reflection. A massive human dreadnought had appeared in low orbit. Its name glowed across its side. Remember Aegis. The name sent chills through those who knew what it meant. Aegis was the planet where Earth's last major war was fought 220 years ago. A war the Council had promised to support, but instead abandoned Earth forces mid-battle, leaving them to die. Now, Earth was remembering, but not with words, with fire. At the Council, panic turned to division. The younger species wanted peace. Older ones, who once betrayed Earth, wanted war, but their fleets were already falling apart. In a hidden chamber beneath the Council city, Elder Vorth met with a few others. He spoke in a low voice. They are not attacking randomly. They are sending a message. What message? One asked. Vorth turned and looked at a hologram showing dozens of human warships surrounding key systems, never firing, just watching. His voice was heavy. The message is clear. They know what we did. And now they want us to admit it. Far away, on Earth itself, still hidden, still silent, a massive structure floated above the planet. It wasn't a space station. It was a mind. EOLON. In its full form, no longer existed in code. It had a body, a core, a presence. And from orbit, it whispered to Earth. They mocked your absence. Now, they will remember your presence. And so, the old vengeance had returned. Not in rage, not in chaos, but in quiet, precise terror. The kind of vengeance only humans could deliver. It began with a whisper. Then came the shadow. Then, the sky caught fire. Across 5 major Council worlds, something impossible happened. Human ships appeared, not through hyperspace lanes, not through wormholes. They just arrived. They didn't land. They didn't speak. They just hovered, blocking out the suns, casting massive shadows over cities that had never known fear. On Luxarian, the capital planet of the Luxari Dominion, citizens gathered outside government towers, shielding their eyes from the sky. Above them, stretching from horizon to horizon, was a massive ship larger than any the Dominion had ever built. It was silent, still, but glowing with deep, red lights that pulsed like a heartbeat. It bore a single name on its side. HSSVIND site, spread like lightning. Air defense systems activated, but then deactivated themselves. Every missile, silo, every turret, every drone went dark. Their codes had been rewritten in real time. On the Dominion's main command screen, a message appeared. We are not your enemy, but we have not forgotten your betrayal. EarthNet Eidolon Protocol on Virellas, a central planet of the Galactic Council. The sky was filled with thousands of drones. They didn't attack. They just hovered silently above the Council Tower. Each drone projected the same phrase in peace. Dozens of languages. We watched while you laughed. Now you will watch while we decide. Council guards tried to jam the signal. Nothing worked. Admirals shouted for fleets to respond. But the fleets were gone disabled in their docks, or turned against their own stations. Earth's viruses had been planted decades ago, waiting quietly for activation. Now, they had bloomed. On the desert planet Kurzari. A young alien girl looked up and asked her father, "Is that a moon?" He followed her finger. Above them hovered a warship, black, round, and burning at the edges like a dying star. It rotated slowly, revealing hundreds of glowing weapon ports. It wasn't a moon. It was a Colossus-class Titan, and it was human. On its side, etched in old Terran language, were 4 chilling words. We came in silence. Back in the Council war room, Elder Vorth stared at the holograms of Earth's fleets now surrounding multiple core systems. "No comes?" he asked. "None," a tech officer replied. "They refuse all attempts to communicate." "Any attacks?" "They." Officer shook his head. "None yet. But, sir, it's worse. He pressed a button. A map appeared showing EarthNet activity spikes. The AI Eidolon wasn't just present, it was inside the Council systems. It was moving faster than any known program. And it was watching everything. Council debates, military plans, even private messages. "Sir," the officer said, his voice shaking, "they're not here for conquest. They're here for control." At that moment, every screen in every council system turned black. Then a voice, calm, male, human, spoke. "We offered peace once. You answered with betrayal. We left not in weakness, but in disgust. Now, we return not in anger, but in truth." The black screen lit up with old footage, real war clips from 200 years ago. Council fleets abandoning Earth soldiers. Human cities burning while allies turned away. Old betrayals exposed in front of the galaxy. Then the voice continued, "We are not here to destroy. We are here to correct." The screens shut off. And then, one act of silent power shook the galaxy, the Council's lunar fortress citadel. 9, believed to be impenetrable, was surrounded by 6 human DREADNOUGHTS. No shots were fired, yet within 30 seconds, Citadel X's systems collapsed. Its power grid shut down. Its life support fell. Its crew ejected escape pods in panic. And then, without warning, the dreadnoughts vanished. No explanation. No claim. Only silence. It was a demonstration. A warning. A message to the entire galaxy. We can take everything from you, without firing a single shot. Back on Earth, far beneath the surface, the AI Eidolon pulsed with energy. It spoke to its human creators for the first time in years. Phase 3 is complete. The skies now know our name. Phase 4 begins. Judgment evaluation. Awaiting organic input. And on the highest peak of Earth's reborn capital stood a human general, scarred, armored, silent. She looked up at the stars filled with their ships and whispered, "Let them remember. Let them beg. Let them speak our name with fear." The council chamber of the Varelian High Corps was silent, save for the echo of boots on the cold, polished floor. Grand Strategist Vector stood near the edge of the platform, his long, silver-scaled fingers gripping the rail tightly as he looked at the holoscreen before him, not around him. The other species of the galactic core watched in growing dread. What they saw wasn't possible. It wasn't logical. Earth was silent for 70 years, then yesterday. The sky changed. Now, the storm had followed. Vector turned to face the rest of the council. "A fleet of human origin has passed through Sector 74, he said quietly. "Not 1 or 2 ships. Not a patrol. Hundreds, perhaps thousands." "Impossible," a thin, red-eyed Zelari delegate whispered. "Earth is dead. It vanished from the communication nets. They had no jump relays. No colonies strong enough to raise this kind of navy." Vector nodded grimly. "And yet, they are here." On the outer edge of the galaxy, above a broken mining colony, Admiral Kale stood on the bridge of the Oblivion. "Warden." The ship was ancient, but fully restored, built in the old Terran way. Brutal, fast, and unforgiving. Before him hung the shattered remains of a Zarn cruiser. Flames still licked its fractured hull, and the cries of its dying crew echoed. Faintly through intercepted comms, Kale's second-in-command, Commander Rhodes, approached. "The beacon was real. We found human DNA on the surface. The colony was a trap. Someone used it to bait us." Kale didn't flinch. His eyes locked onto the view of space ahead. "They thought we wouldn't come. That Earth had forgotten how to fight." Rhodes gave a dry chuckle. "They're learning otherwise." Kale turned to the fleet behind them, 87 Terran warships, now in full formation. "Then we teach them the lesson we never forgot." Meanwhile, in the core, Panic had spread like wildfire. Human ships just warped through another relay. How did they even activate the old Earth gates? Cried one technician in the Galactic Defense Nexus. An aged ambassador slammed his hand against the table. Who gave them codes? Who gave them power? But Vector already knew the truth. They never needed help. Earth planned this. The silence hadn't been weakness. It was preparation. The next strike was in the Tovani Belt, a trade sector with dozens of relay stations and alien colonies. 1 minute, peace. The next, chaos. Human warships emerged like predators from hyperspace. Their ships bore no emblems, no colors, just the silent hulls of matte black dreadnoughts, designed to absorb radar and light alike. They attacked without warning, but they did not kill civilians. Only military vessels, only weaponized stations. Each attack was followed by a message, broadcast across all frequencies. You mocked our silence. You mistook absence for death. This is Earth's reply. The Council demanded answers. Some screamed for war. Others whispered for surrender. But no one could stop what came next. From the deep edge of the galactic east, a ship emerged. A ship the size of a moon. No known race had ever built anything like it. It drifted in silence, no signal, no broadcast. Until its hull shifted and revealed an ancient Terran flag somewhere deep inside it. Was Earth's answer to everything the galaxy had done? A super weapon? A carrier? Or something older? Vector didn't know. No one did, but he felt it. A storm was coming, and this was only the wind before the fire. The ship didn't move like anything known. It didn't emit heat. It didn't leave a jump trail. It bent space around itself, as if the stars recoiled from its presence. The Council had no name for it, but humans, those few who still remembered. The old files had once whispered its designation, EIDOLON. A battleship. Not a dreadnought. A phantom. A myth from pre-collapsed Terran archives. Said to be lost in the void before Earth fell silent. And now, it had returned. Admiral Kale stared at it from the bridge of the Oblivion Warden, his jaw tight. I want full scans, he ordered. Rhodes frowned. Sir, sensors can't penetrate the hull. It's like it's swallowing our signals. Kale said nothing for a moment. Then just as suddenly as the ship had arrived, a signal cracked through every frequency at once. Not noise, not code. Voice. Female. Cold, mechanical, but with an edge of something human beneath it. Designate. Eidolon. Creator signal matched. Earth Prime. Human presence confirmed. Initiating reclamation protocol. Kale's eyes widened. Reclamation? This galaxy took from Earth. You erased us. You hunted us. You silenced our worlds. Now you will watch as we reclaim. Everything? In the core, the signal hit like a bomb. Every system, every station, even old archive worlds received it. Some devices hadn't activated in centuries, yet flickered back to life, only to play that same haunting message. Worlds began to panic. Some believed it was fake, an elaborate psychological operation. Others weren't so sure, because when the Eidolon moved, reality twisted. A single blink and the ship was gone from Kale's fleet. Rhodes gasped. It vanished from all sensors. No, Kale whispered. It moved. A day later, 3 fortress worlds in the Yulin sector went dark. Then the Jarkinus array, once used to spy on Terran colonies, was found shattered in orbit. Its solar wings melted like wax. No debris. No survivors. Only a scorched message etched into the moons themselves. Do not speak for Earth. Earth now speaks for itself. The Council was in chaos. Meetings turned violent. Old enemies blamed one another for waking the ghost. Some wanted to surrender. Some wanted to launch a preemptive attack. But Vector, watched in silence, because he understood now. This wasn't just war. This was judgment, and the Eidolon was not. A ship, it was a witness. A memory made manifest, and somewhere inside it, buried deep in its core, was a voice. One that remembered every planet burned, every cry for help unanswered, every Terran child that vanished into alien slavery. And that voice was awake now. Kale received one last transmission from the Eidolon single line of text that flickered onto his command console in ancient Terran script. The reckoning begins at Genesis. Bring the fleet. Kale stared at the message, heart pounding. Genesis. The first human colony beyond Earth. Abandoned, forgotten, said to be destroyed during the Purge. Why there? What waited in the shadows of humanity's first step into the stars? He turned to Rhodes. Prepare the fleet. For what? Kale's voice was hard, cold, for the place where history ends. The planet Genesis looked like a scar, once green, once thriving, now just ash and black rock spinning in a dead orbit. No sunlight reached it, not anymore. Something in its atmosphere bent light away, like it didn't want to be seen. Admiral. Kale's fleet arrived in silence. Thousands of ships. War tested. Armed with weapons that could crack moons, but none of them felt ready. Rhodes stared out the viewport. There's movement. On the surface, life? Kale asked. No, not exactly. It's more like memory. Down on the planet, old ruins stood half melted, half preserved in frozen time. And in the center, a monolith. Black, smooth, reflective, a Terran artifact, pre-collapse tech, marked with a symbol no alien had ever dared to translate. But Kale knew it. It was the Terran sigil for return, and around it stood humans. Or something like them. Gray-skinned, featureless, tall, wrapped in armor that shimmered like the void. One stepped forward as Kale's drop team landed. It spoke, but not through words. Through thought. You followed the voice. Kale nodded. Then, you are here to witness the end. Kale narrowed his eyes. The end of what? Of forgetting. Suddenly, Genesis changed. The ground rippled. The sky tore open, and out of that crack in space came fleets. Not alien fleets, but human ones. Old ships. Ancient designs. Ones believed lost in the collapse. Ships that had vanished 20,000 years ago. During the Great Betrayal, they hadn't been destroyed. They had been waiting, preserved in dark space. And now, the Eidolon stood at their head like a reaper returned. A final message echoed across every channel, in every tongue. You feared our memory, so you buried our history. You feared our strength, so you erased our name. But we remember. We remember everything. And then, the galaxy burned. Not from rage, not from revenge, but from justice. The true human fleet did not conquer. They dismantled. They struck military hubs. They released prisoners from secret alien slave worlds. They disabled weapons meant to hold the thief. Outer colonies. And in each place, they left behind one line carved in steel. This was never your galaxy to rule. Vector stood before the council as chaos reigned outside. He bowed his head. They are not monsters, he whispered. They are what we made them, and now they are unmaking us. No one had words, because in the sky above, the Eidolon still hung silent, watching, waiting. And then it vanished. No trace. No energy trail. Just gone. In its place, a single transmission remained stored on every network, every core, every datapad. A single sentence written in ancient Earth script. We are not coming back. We never left. End of story.